Before 2022, a TV producer in Kyiv bought a crop drone with his own savings. Less than 2 years later, his team transformed that risky experiment into Ukraine's deadliest 24/7 drone hunting unit, claiming over $15 billion in Russian losses. What could turn a volunteer's side project into a relentless factory-style war machine, and why has every army in the world taken notice? Pavlo Yelizarov's life changed overnight in February 2022. When Russian tanks crossed the border, he was not a soldier, he was a television producer, known for directing Ukraine's top current affairs show. But as explosions echoed across Kyiv, Pavlo made a decision that would cost him almost everything he had. He found a way to buy a Chinese agricultural drone through back channels, paying out of his own pocket. The price was steep, hundreds of thousands of dollars in personal savings, just to get a handful of machines into his garage. The first days were pure improvisation. Pavlo and a few friends, including his deputy from the TV station, stripped camera rigs off old FPV racing drones and began testing payloads. They had no blueprints, no military guidance, only the urgency of war and a belief that something new was possible. Early footage shows makeshift bomb releases and duct-taped batteries. Each test was a risk. If the drone worked, it could change the battlefield. If it failed, the loss was personal and immediate. Pavlo's apartment became a workshop and a command center. Friends joined, drawn by the chance to fight back with whatever tools they could find. Every spare hour and every spare hryvnia went into parts, batteries, and repairs. The idea was simple. If the enemy had tanks, Ukraine would answer with cheap, clever machines. What started as a desperate experiment in a Kyiv garage would soon demand a level of organization and sacrifice that no one in the group could have imagined. By mid-2022, the garage experiments had outgrown Pavlo's apartment. The National Guard of Ukraine stepped in, offering a lifeline and a challenge. Pavlo's team was absorbed as an official drone unit, gaining access to secure facilities and a steady supply of parts, but also facing military expectations. Gone were the days of duct tape and guesswork. Now, every mission demanded structure, discipline, and relentless output. A liaison from the National Guard became the bridge between the volunteers and the formal military command. He brought order to the chaos, introducing strict routines and dividing the team into specialized crews. Pilots focused on flying, navigators handled targeting, and ground crews took over maintenance and rapid repairs. Each role came with defined responsibilities and a rotating shift schedule designed to keep the operation running day and night. The system ran like a fast food kitchen. Missions came in, targets were queued, and crews rotated through in overlapping shifts. Pre-flight checklists replaced improvisation. Bins of batteries and propellers lined the walls, ready for quick swaps between sorties. If a drone came back damaged, the next crew was already prepping the replacement, ensuring there was no downtime. Every detail, from handover notes to maintenance logs, fed into a continuous cycle of launches and recoveries. This assembly line approach meant that the unit could strike at any hour, anywhere the front demanded. The McDonald's metaphor wasn't just a joke, it was the reality. By formalizing their routines and roles, the team unlocked true 24/7 capability, setting the stage for the industrial-scale operations that would soon redefine the battlefield. If you want more reporting on how drones are changing war, subscribe to the channel for regular updates. At the heart of Lesar Group's relentless tempo are two main drone platforms. The first is the agile FPV, first-person view, quadcopters, originally built for racing but reworked for war. They are fast, nimble, and cheap enough to lose. Pilots strap on goggles, gripping controllers like video game pros, and steer these machines straight toward Russian armor or dugouts. Their short range and vulnerability to jamming are offset by sheer numbers and the ability to hit targets at low altitude before defenders can react. Then there is the heavy bomber, a custom-built drone that looks more like a small aircraft than a toy. Outfitted with Starlink satellite terminals, these bombers can fly up to 40 miles from the launch point, far beyond the reach of most Russian jammers. Instead of relying on radio signals, pilots use satellite links to guide the drones across enemy lines, even at night or in poor weather. The process starts with aerial reconnaissance. A small FPV scout identifies a target, relays GPS coordinates, and the heavy bomber launches with a tailored payload. Navigators and pilots work in tandem, one plotting the route, the other flying the strike. Once the drone is airborne, ground crews prepare the next machine, checking batteries, replacing propellers, and logging every detail for the next shift. This cycle repeats around the clock, creating a seamless chain from target detection to final strike, with every roll tuned for speed and precision. January 2026, Lyman Sector. Ukrainian drone pilots from Lazar Group coordinated with the State Border Guard Service to launch a series of precision strikes through the night. Within hours, drone footage confirmed a tally: 10 Russian armored fighting vehicles, 2 cargo trucks, and a fuel tanker, all neutralized. The operation unfolded in near silence, with navigators relaying coordinates from their bunker stations, pilots guiding heavy bombers across enemy lines, and ground crews prepping the next sortie before the last impact had faded. The National Guard of Ukraine released a statement crediting Lazar Group for crippling a key Russian convoy, describing the strike as a turning point in local operations. While independent OSINT analysts have not yet geolocated every destroyed vehicle, the cumulative claims are staggering. Since 2022, Lazar Group alone reports over $15 billion in Russian equipment losses. The footage from Lyman, time-stamped, cross-referenced, and distributed through official channels, serves as a rare glimpse into the scale of impact. One pilot, exhausted but resolute, described the aftermath as a conveyor belt of targets, each one erased before the next shift began. The evidence left little doubt. What started as a volunteer experiment now delivers results that ripple across the entire front. Russian commanders did not wait long to push back. Electronic warfare teams rolled out mobile jamming trucks, flooding the airwaves with interference. FPV quadcopters began dropping from the sky mid-mission, their video feeds dissolving into static. Convoys that once drove in neat columns started to scatter, breaking into smaller groups and weaving through tree lines to avoid detection. Even so, Ukraine's drone crews refused to slow down. Instead of pulling back, Lazar Group doubled their launch tempo. If jamming took out one drone, another was already airborne, following the same route within minutes. The concept was simple: overwhelm Russian defenses with sheer volume. Saturation attacks, sending waves of drones in rapid succession, forced Russian gunners to split their attention, making it nearly impossible to stop every strike. Heavy bombers equipped with Starlink terminals ignored ground-based jammers entirely. Pilots in rear bunkers guided these machines far beyond the front lines, striking targets that thought they were safe. Each Russian adaptation triggered a new Ukrainian response. The duel became a cycle: jamming, dispersion, saturation, repeat. As the contest escalated, it was clear this was not just a battle of machines, but a relentless race to keep pace with an enemy that never slept. Inside the Lazar Group's sprawling network, the backbone isn't just technology, it's the hidden army of logistics volunteers and workshop crews who keep the operation running without pause. In a converted warehouse just outside Kyiv, rows of benches are stacked with motors, circuit boards, and propellers. Batteries are charged in bulk, sorted into bins, and cycled through the system at a pace that rivals any factory. Every night, technicians test and repair parts, fabricating replacements for drones damaged in the field. The workshops can assemble dozens of airframes in a single week, drawing from Ukraine's network of more than 500 drone manufacturers and suppliers. Consumables are the lifeblood here. Each sortie burns through batteries, propellers, and payload mounts. Volunteers have built up stockpiles using everything from crowd-funded donations to government grants. The logistics crews track every component, ensuring the next shift never waits for a missing part. When a drone comes back with a cracked arm or fried circuit, it is stripped for salvage, and the usable pieces are rushed back into rotation. Training new pilots is just as relentless. Simulators run around the clock, letting recruits practice on digital battlefields before handling real machines. Veteran operators mentor the next wave, passing on tactics and troubleshooting skills. The personnel pipeline is designed for resilience. If one pilot is lost or burned out, another is ready to take their place. For every strike seen on the front lines, there is a chain of unseen hands behind it, turning raw parts and raw recruits into a force that never sleeps. Drone warfare now shapes every hour on Ukraine's front lines. As technology accelerates, battlefields shift from manpower to machine power, blurring the rules of war for everyone. What happens here doesn't stay here. The future of conflict is being written in real time. Subscribe to the channel for more frontline stories.